sure, we see Vivo Kid versus W7M go, it's probably gonna be a W7M victory,
Yeah.
but it doesn't have to be. There is a chance. Vivo Kid, they've had pretty good games so far, right? 6-8 loss against Liquid, 5-7 loss against E1, and then a 7-3 victory over MIBR. And they've done so on 3 different maps. Oregon will be a 4th because they've played Chalet, Bang, Cafe, now adding Oregon to that tally. So not only have Vivo Key put up good numbers, but they've done it across an impressive amount of maps so far.
But of course, on the flip side, it is always the Titan that is W7M, and especially at the major, W7M seemed to finally get everything figured out, where we knew what they were capable of this entire past year, and even in Stage 1, but it seemed like they were 85-90% there, but still struggling to find that 10%. While Liquid gave them a very good run for their money yesterday, W7M continue to just be always the Titan in Brazil at the moment that you always have to worry about. Bans have gone ahead, by the way, and Nick, I think for Oregon, this is probably the exact ban phase I would usually prescribe, specifically taking out the Ying and the Warden as our second set of bans, or middle set of bans from Vivo Keyed. I think making sure that, of course, you deny the Candelas on the attack, but more importantly, you don't have that Warden sitting on the laundry machine or sitting in pillar, peeking you at Mach 5 every time you try to enter the site with 30 seconds left. I think that's going to make Vivo Keyed's attacks feel at least a lot smoother.
Yeah, definitely in theory, and I think when you see a Ying ban, you think, okay, like, we're used to that, whatever, we gotta supplement the smokes and the other kind of utility operators that we can use for the spaceman attack. But what's more important is that when a team, they choose to ban the Warden, you now have a massive advantage with how the smokes are going to work in your favor. Because normally, you ban the Ying, enemy plays the Warden, your smokes works against you on the attacking side, but by banning the Ying and the Warden, you now play Glass all of a sudden, right? You can play Capital, you can just generally have those smoke grenades on operators like Twitch. And all of a sudden, the smokes fully work in just your favor. Warden's pick rate is incredibly high throughout the last, year of Siege now at this point? But his ban rate hasn't seen that much. So it's not that common that we see smokes just working solely in attackers' favors, and this will be one of those rare instances where it will.
KZ also playing a little aggressively early on. Of course, you don't know, this Capital Bolts can't get caught by ADSs, but can get caught by magnets. So if KZ were to lose his life early on, make those smoke bolts landing in the proper angles a little bit easier later on. We do have a second player from the defense sitting on top of the laundry stairs, while the rest of the attack, just to clear out the top armory position and then move into master bedroom, clear out that second floor. JB92's prepped to C4. Oh! Hate sprints in too quickly. That's the benefit of pre-ripping your C4s, Nick. Maybe JB92 is able to hit that, but he reacts a little bit too late, unfortunately. Does a little bit of damage to Hates, but not enough to write home about.
It's gonna keep you on your toes though, right? Because you're thinking, easy entry, walk in, skedaddling, we're laughing, we're smiling, and C4 gets ripped, and you almost lose your life for Hates. And a lot of teams, when you play Oregon Basement, they play very passive on the bomb side. They don't swing up those staircases. I like seeing that proactivity. I mean, look at this. W7M throwing impact grenades at the freezer staircase. It's just kind of, again, apply pressure onto the attacking side of Vivo Kid. And this is classic W7M. They like to fight for most areas of the map as a defending team, kill a couple of drones, and just make their opponent feel uncomfortable, because this is the attacker's playground right now. They have cleared the roam, they know that everybody from W7M, they're going to be on the bomb site itself. But still, time is kind of ticking down. 1 minute, 25 seconds. Daffodil just started opening up that meeting hatch with the Maverick. That's in case of a kite being brought out, of course. But we know that there is no such thing as kite, so yeah. Gotta go slow, but you gotta do it.
There's still a lot of defensive utility, even if there are no electric claws. I mean, we have F-Nods, Hertz dodge, 3 Kiba barriers in pocket. Grab more to block the attack's way. Nade's got that C4, and still a lot of close angles held by W7M. First bit of attacking utility goes on in, but doesn't find much just yet. Not enough of a pathway opened up, with only 50 seconds to go. This is often the problem on Oregon basement attacks. It's not even that Vivo Kid have done anything wrong so far. It's just so much utility to clear, so many angles held by the defense on the bomb site. Just need to start clearing a path, but often the attack is left with not enough time to do it, and the lack of the Ying as well. This is where that ban might actually hurt Vivo Kid. They might have the smokes, but you don't have those Candelas to bail you out of a very late E-box drop, and a lot of this will be based entirely on gunfights. Maybe some flashbangs, but not enough to deny the bunker door position either. No Hibanas on that E-box wall. This is all going to be direct one-on-one gunfights. Vivoki need to be the one to get an advantage early on. C4 misses. They'll be happy about that. And no kill broken either way. In fact, it's Felipok's first to fall. Vivoki able to clear the path inside a pillar very efficiently. But now only 5 seconds left. Herd's in the right position to deny. Picks up one. Huge pickup for Vivoki, but W7M hold on just long enough and are able to win round 1 on time.
That is so close, though. I mean, you look at it and go, okay, roam clear is efficient. You know, they're a little bit low on time, but it shouldn't be a huge concern. But you mentioned it perfectly, Carter. There is simply so much utility on the defensive side that you gotta spend so much utility yourself and effort to clear it out. And they do just that. They win their initial gunfights, but they don't have the clock to work for them. They have not enough time to establish that plant position and get into a comfortable position. They're rushing through doorways without a drone, and they trade in, well, technically even numbers, but it's always going to favor the defenders when you have 1 or 2 members alive. Clock hits 0, you can't plant the diffuser. Round goes to, of course, W7M. But for how defender's side of that basement bomb site really is, it was a lot closer than that we normally see and expect. So the fact that Vivoki could get it so close is a good sign for them. And if they can just kind of match that same thing next time, fix a couple of mistakes, all of a sudden, we're looking at a round victory. And Oregon is one of those, if you get like a perfect bomb set rotation on defense, like a 3-0, you're so happy, right? You go back to basement and you just supposed to win that one, you go 4-0. So typically we say, okay, defenders win the first round, and now the attackers have a slightly higher chance of winning. If defenders then win the second round, you're like, okay, attackers should win that third round before the rotation comes through. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes it doesn't.
Yep, exactly.
We'll have to see if Vivoki are able to find themselves so lucky to pick up an early second round on dorms. Like you said, we do see teams sometimes fall here, especially if Vivoki want to keep going with smoke executes, though no flashbangs or smokes of any kind in round 2. So if they do want to go for, say, an execute through big window and up white stairs, they'll definitely have a bit of a difficult time. It would have to be done with those frag grenades from down below inside a kitchen. Might be more preferable just to open up the master bedroom wall and the attic wall. Of course, by the way, going back to basement for just a second, one downside that I actually didn't think about with that Hibana ban, you aren't really able to pressure that bunker door position, because normally teams open that up with a Hibana. You might have to bring an ace on the basement attacks if you want to do a similar thing. Of course, Vivoki have brought the ace here to likely open up that master bedroom and the attic wall. A minute in, various Vivoki players have found themselves in bottom big tower, side of meeting. I've yet to see actually any walls open up, but that might change momentarily.
Yeah, and similarly, in a same fashion, W7M they're spread very thin across the map. First floor, second floor, of course, Lenda just walks in and picks 2 easy kills. Again, Vivoki doing a great job of shutting down that initial hold from W7M. But what is this? A Capcan trap as well. Chaos in the server.
Just nightmare fuel for W7M right now. Though, with that one EDD, they picked up Daffodil on the ace, so the only hard breaching they had is Gomez's hard breach charges, which I believe might not have even been used to open up the attic wall. It's still completely solid. So wherever they went, if they were destroyed or whatnot, that attic wall will remain solid the entirety of the round. Hornetown now also down. Nate able to even it up to a 3v3 for W7M. A lot of damage was done to that downstairs extension, so good Vivoki on that. But since then, snapshots and headshots all around for W7M. They've clawed their lead back. And as you can see, those EDDs are placed on the bedroom wall exactly to stop Daffodil from opening up the bedroom breach. That's all left up to Gomez and Lenda to try to bring this round back. Just spots the head, but Nate's holding too tight of an angle. Excellent comeback for W7M. A 3v5 to a round 2 victory.
But it shouldn't have to be this way, right? This shouldn't be comeback rounds for W7M. They should just have that either in the bag from the beginning, or Vivoki should be able to finish off those rounds going in their direction. If you get 1 or 2 opening kills on Oregon attacks, you're typically looking at a round victory. The hard thing about Oregon is to get the initial kill on the attack inside, and then of course you just gotta hold on to it. Lenda walks in, gets 2 free kills, and you're thinking, okay, 3 versus 5 favoring Vivoki should be an easy round, right? No, not quite, because Vivoki, they don't really slow down, and they're very isolated on their attack. We saw Gomez and Amaru literally halfway across the map inside that big tower, not on drones, didn't get the wall opened up, has to rotate all the way back towards the opposite side of the map to help his teammates in the end tail of that round. And it's like, they're not playing together very well. And where was the Capcan trap? You mentioned it, we saw it inside of that master bedroom closet, the most default position probably on Oregon to put a Capcan trap. You shouldn't die to that at this level of play.
I mean, If we do want to be a little positive, maybe at least they died to it early on. Maybe they'll anticipate it on the next Dorms defense. We will assuredly get a second attempt at Dorms from W7M. This is always a bit surprising to me. And normally in a NAEU we see the meeting as the third bomb site, but not right now. We got the kitchen and dining.
That's a
Nice.
W7M classic, by the way. They love this bomb site.
It always catches me off guard. It's always like, even when I'm watching a major, I'm like, oh, okay. Oregon, we got basement, dorms, meeting, and kitchen dining. God, I was watching W7M play. Need to open up my horizons a little bit more. And I mean, you can see part of the reason why they prefer this bomb site, especially with a Mira up. Look at how aggressively KZ is playing inside of showers with the Mira window directly contesting small tower. It'll definitely be difficult for Vivo Key to find a similar individual pick like they did before. Hates also does find himself on the blitz, though. There are plenty of castle barricades in his way, stopping anybody from pushing into showers, though. So are we going to see him just jump in right here, Nick? Reach charge go down? Is he just going to try to dismantle the entire setup? Might have to wait a little bit longer.
It's possible. The reason why this is so good, by the way, is because Hibana is bent out from W7M, and you got an impact player of Lesion of KC playing behind the mirror window. You have to trade 3 Selma charges to get that mirror window wall opened up, because one Selma goes out, impact trade. You do that 2 times. It means you have no impact and 1 Selma left in pocket, and it's again so much utility for a singular wall. And if W7M want to, they also have hurts, or they can swing.
Okay. And
Okay.
indeed
All
they
right.
will. Double kill from Felipox now as Hates finally has entered the Showers hallway. Found 2 kills for his troubles. That Showers position fully cleared out. And while W7M have dealt a lot of damage, Evo Keed's man count, including Daffodil, put to very low HP, Evo Keed have nabbed themselves a very useful bit of map control. They can now effectively pressure security later on, or maybe the bomb site itself. This secondary mirror window catches Hates standing still right in front of it, but he's not finished off. Thankfully, that's a couple UMP shots to the shins. That'd probably take an entire magazine to kill Hates at that point. Advantage now gained for Vivo Keed. Bomb going down. Can Nade counter? Can he get the swing in time? No, he will not. No C4 either to throw over that mirror window. Excellent retake by JV92 into small tower, as it's Nade instead to pick up Daffodil inside of the small tower stairs. With Nade falling inside of the bomb site, JV92 has to hit quite a few nasty shots on the SMG-11, and his own mirror window is staring him right in the face. A blitz behind it, too! That's just overkill at that point, with 2 different bulletproof shields right in front of that man's face. Evo Keed might just pick up their first round on the tertiary bomb site on Oregon, assuming JV92 doesn't hit 2 nasty shots with the shotgun. And no, it'll be the SMG-12 to do him in.
Balance has been restored, right? Defenders take the first and second round. Attackers, they take that trustworthy third. But I want to praise Vivo Key because they did a great job at problem solving. We spoke about how you can play around the utility with the Hibana ban, Impact Trick in the Selma, or Thermite Charge, depending on what the attackers will do against you. And then Vivo Key to recognize that they, in fact, cannot reliably break this wall. And you have a blitz. You have some aggressive frontliners, right? Just send in the ace, send in the blitz, trade 1 for 1 or 2 for 2 in that case, even in numbers. But you get bathroom control, you get small tower in control. And then, again, with the Warden ban, the smoke grenade comes to great effect. Because imagine there was a Warden in kitchen that round, smoke grenade goes out. You cannot just reliably cover that, the plank going down from Blitz of Hates. Because Warden can see through the smoke, you cannot. Then you gotta bring a glass. So a great setup from Evo Key, secures the plant, they establish the crossfire, and the cover is just perfect from them. I like the attempt of a retake, jumping out the big window upstairs, going in towards small tower, try and retake from Nade, but realistically, you're so far away from the bombs at that point inside of a small tower, and all those angles that you've built up for yourself did not work against you as the attackers become defenders and vice versa.
Going back to a point I made at the beginning of the dorms round, which actually was about basement, and that if you don't bring an ace with that Hibana ban, you can't as effectively pressure the bunker doorway position, which might be part of the reason why Vivo Keyed, even though they went for an E-box drop last time, were not able to create any real pressure from bunker until very late in the round, and it was very individual, not very solid. Oh, Hates! Oh! What a flick onto that skeleton key! But no follow-up, unfortunately. Hertz does take quite a bit of damage. But Vivo Keyed able to take down a key player early on. No more close shotgun with that mute. So if W7M want to play aggressively on the bottom freezer stairs like they did before, it will have to be with semi-automatics instead of a very dangerous pump shotgun.
It's very impressive. I mean, I thought for sure that Hate's a bad time in there. He's gonna flick the wrong door
I did
and just
too.
die outright, but he somehow makes it work, right? That's why he's the pro, and we're just watching him play the game. But you might say here, okay, 1-for-1 trade, who's favored here? You know, loose block for mute. I think if you can disrupt the opponent, you're always gonna be in the winning position. I think it's the right play for W7M to try and get that opening kill. They have 2 members there to try and trade it back, but I actually think destroying the mute of Philippox, taking away the C4, etc., and just like increasing your odds there, as you said, the shotgun bottom staircase, I think you would kick him out on top here.
I mean, I definitely agree with that, honestly. Even though I brought up the shotgun, I actually think because of the C4, as you mentioned, that's probably the bigger thing, especially because Vivo Keyed wanted to go for a backside take last time. JB92, sure, he has a C4, but you've now reduced the defense's supply by half. And if it comes down to 10 seconds again, and JV92 C4 misses, you're going to be really happy you traded Hates for Philippox early on. Especially if even Vivo Keyed could speed this up a little bit, bait out that C4. There's still a lot of problems in their way, specifically this bunker position. They don't really have a good answer for it just yet. They're stacked up on back tower stairs again, on the E-box hatch too. They're still relying on grenades to make this all work.
Oh,
maybe? Ooh, with Lendo.
It works.
Does get that kill. KZ shut down. That was the player contesting the doorway, and the Jaeger, the follow-up. It doesn't work out. This is the opening Vivo Keyed we're looking for and that they needed. Nade's able to fight back, but pillar control still in the hands of Vivo Keyed, but not for long. The Melusi undoes all that damage, but now has to undo the rest. Basement might just go the way of Vivo Keyed unless they stop him! Holding the singular position on the double door. 4 kills come Nade's way, and he doesn't leave any of them standing.
He's got the wrong name. His name is Nate, but he's more like a turret. He just stood still and picked up kill after kill. Yeah, exactly. Do that instead. Just the weapon of choice. It's impressive again from W7M, but this is not how such a good team should be winning these rounds, right? Come off winning the major, making grand finals. Everyone's hyping me up, and they're playing really well. But these rounds are impressive from Vivo Keyed for so many reasons. But as long as W7M keep clutching it out, they'll eventually take the round. Again, W7M, they play from behind, but they find kill after kill after kill. The setup was better this time as well, because they started things off with Linda on that grenade, Gomez pushed blue double door, and they just won their individual gunfights, but there was also follow-up in case they didn't. Round score is 3-1, but this match is a lot closer than that.
Oh, absolutely, and I think especially with how, I mean, that basement attack, think about it this way, their only bunker pressure is relying on a nade from above, or the guy actually pushing the bunker double itself, winning his gunfight. Both ended up working out. And to be fair, one, the nade is a bit more secure than the other option, but Vivo Keyed, both still able to work out. That spells a lot of hope for their basement attacks, especially because by the time we saw that 2v4, it was like 40 seconds faster than Vivo Keyed's previous attack was. If we can see that same kind of fix on Dorms, which ended up being their weakest attack overall, I'd say, maybe excluding round 1, you had that 5v3 gained by Lenda, but it was all otherwise very individual, very spread out from Vivo Keyed. But if we're able to see that same kind of consolidation we just saw in Basement at a much quicker pace than round 2, a 3-3 is still very much in the cards.
No, it absolutely is, and I gotta say for W7M, like, usually we see, like, Casey and JV92, like, be the ones to pop off. Right now, Nate is taking over, 9-1 on his score, and look at Casey, he's 0-3. Look at JV, he's also 0-3. That's just, you know, the all-around Vincent's roster. If you have a team with, a little bit of team damage there. If you have 5 excellent players, and just to kind of, like, take turns taking over these rounds, taking over these games, that's all you really need. The big concern right now for me is that Nate is left downstairs, all on his own. Of course, there's a few vertical holes to assist him, but he has to make a hero play here to find some value. It's a classic strat, mute downstairs, C4 in pocket, Jamos deny those walls around him and the drones. And then here, it hurts cover from above. I like the nuke from Lenda, trying to creep around the map, but Oregon, it doesn't have that many different avenues to work with, so the nuke is not going to be the most impactful, especially given that Valkyrie's been banned by W7M. There are no cameras but the default ones anyway in this game.
And also with that barricade on Freezer Stairs, Lenda just doesn't have an easy pathway to hit this flank that he wants. In fact, I think he might have just backed off. Thankfully for Vivo Keyed, there's no Capkin on the board. They have been able to open up the bedroom wall. Down was JV92, 0-4 now. A rough performance so far. Herds might just find the equalizer. The ace knows about that angle now once Herds started shooting. 2 kills fly each other's way, but now we go We had an advantage just for a second for W7M, but all back to Vivo Keed. Gotta give credit where credit's due. Nade keeping W7M in this game as fervently as he can. That C4 downs Lenda. Hates might just finish it off, but this is a shotgun he's got to deal with. In a 1v1, and Nade I'm fighting against. I'm worried about my odds in this position. He takes the fight. He's got the case, but he might have to back off a little bit. You have 45 seconds. You don't need to push too quickly. Push too aggressively. Maybe take the long fight, but no! Nade sees him! A 3K to follow the 4K in round 4. I mean, what can this man not do?
I mean, you
Jesus.
don't need a team if you have a player like Nate on your roster right now, because it is literally just him. And think about back, where did he start and spend most of his round? Downstairs inside of server room with a barricade on the door and the hatch that wasn't open, essentially. He couldn't do a whole lot from that position, but he did. He found the kill downstairs, came back up the white staircase towards the bomb site, picks up another 2 kills and denies the push from Vivo Keed. The story is repeating itself. Attackers always getting early kill, always with the early advantage, and then W7, the defending team, always clutching it out later on in those rounds. That must be such a frustrating time for Vivo Keed, because they're doing the right thing, and they're getting the right result for the majority of the round, just not in that last dire, 10 to 30 seconds. I like the blitz round. Lenda currently hovering the Monty. I think playing a shield operator could be the way forward, because there's just really one player in your path, and that's, again, Nade. So find him, isolate him, put the Monty in his face, etc., or just try and keep off picking on the other players. Like, JV's an easy opening kill, right? He's not really shooting back this game. Just isolate if you can, Kid.
And I think especially securing the 4-2 is really what Vivo Keed wants. Obviously, because that's typically standard on Oregon, but with how W7M been performing today, with how almost entirely it's been on Nade's shoulders, and this being W7M's better side, the attacks on Oregon especially might be a struggle once W7M switch to the side spot. But if you have a 5-1 and Nade just goes huge twice on the attack,
yeah,
that might still get W7M the game just with how much he's been able to win rounds by himself. Vivo Keed want to keep this as close as possible, more so just to make sure that W7M can't win a game off of Nade going huge in a few different rounds. Because he does spot someone outside the garage, so it might not be Nade to start things off. Full P90 spray, though, does not find the ace sitting outside of the garage door, unfortunately. Gomez will be more than aware of that fact. He'll back up, but they might not be using the Monty to isolate Nade out, Nick. Instead, they might be looking to just move in through this split wall, get the diffuser down quickly.
Yeah, a limited attack once again from Vivo Keaton. It's a good, I think, theory, but the counter is there from Hertz. The impact grenades go south, and I think there right now, getting that big tower wall opened up first before they attempt to breach on lobby side would have been the better play, because you see it right here, massively limiting the movement capable from W7M. Whereas they tried to go for lobby first and then get impact tricked, and now they have no secondary hard breach available because Ace is all out. So all of a sudden, this two-sided push from the attack inside of Vivo Keed is a singular push now from Big Tower, but it's not what the majority of the players are actually at, because they've rotated from lobby into small tower side. Rotation needed from Vivo Keed because that failed breach inside of lobby.
Especially now that they've been able to win that tertiary bomb site previously, dropping this one on what might end up being a slow attack. This is not where you want to be if Nade is playing like this. The Monty has finally found his man, though. That is Nade in front of him. Hertz has started off, though. Down soon after, so 4v4. Back to it again. There's the closer we needed. Daffodil rotates around and finds not the second. The Monty covers the thermite fairly soon after. He'll have to put the bomb down. One play moving into split. Oh, deleted off the game entirely. It'll force Lenda off the plant out of sheer fear. He'll move back down fairly soon after. No attempt to deny, or no real option to deny for W7M. They've got to play retake now against Monty, and 2 guns still up for Vivo Keed. Monty spotted KZ running in through split. We'll see the rotation in kind from the player inside a kitchen. That's the other player down for W7M. Nice shot from KZ, but at this point, this is looking more unwinnable every second that passes. Hates doesn't even need to peek, as the Monty can keep relaying information to the rest of his team. Vivo Keed, after a very slow start, pick up a much-needed round to get the 4-2 half they were looking for.
Look at that Monty play again. Yeah, they didn't get what they wanted with the lobby push, but the Monty did exactly the job that needed to be done. Walk on in, apply pressure onto Nate, keep him guessing as to exactly what's going on, and of course, the live intel from the Monty, the yellow pings coming out, and they just did a 3-2-1 3-man collapse. And the guy go from the the green hall of big tower in towards that kitchen door flank, Monty in the middle of kitchen, and a person sort of dining as well. Nate was fighting 3 different players while being constantly spotted out into exactly where he was. There was no real help from him from the rest of his team. Vivoki, they get the 2-4 scoreline, but realistically, that could have been a 2-4 the other way around. Vivoki could have been in the lead here, how close the rounds were. And Oregon defense, this is where the fun begins if you're Vivoki. You get to just set up your bomb side, pick your operators, and be like, you know what? Let's start downstairs in basement. This is a easy bomb site. You can play almost any single operator because the bomb site itself is oh so strong. And I'm very surprised to see a more roam-oriented version of this, actually. The Vigil, the Capcan, the Oryx, we don't see this very commonly on Oregon basement setups because the bomb site is so strong. W7M, they're a team known to be excellent at problem solving, so I'm sure they have a good path forward in this round.
Yeah, basement's one of those bomb sites that sometimes we'll see teams try to complicate things, maybe rethink the attacking strategy or their attacking or defensive strategy in this case. And this is just one of those few bomb sites where it's like, no, you don't need to. It's actually, we often have the right idea with the bunker. But then again, if Vivoki can really excel on getting that man advantage on the defense and then maybe falling back very aggressively once they get a 5v4, are they dedicating a lot of resources early on? Yes, but if they can make it work with even just getting 1 kill and rotating back unscathed, that will give W7M a huge problem once they move in for an execute later on in the round. And I mean, look at this. The Vigil already rotating back to the bomb site 45 seconds in. So Vivoki aren't looking to hold on to the entire map. They are starting to fall back to their respective positions. One player is inside a meeting for the defense, though. His herds know about this position. He's waiting for drones to give him intel. Hornet Tau also moving up the back tower stairs. Unnecessary to contest herds just to give him some scare. That doesn't stop him from swinging hates. Is there a trade from Hornet Town? Does he have it in him? No, unfortunately. Might have to back down, play the Azami inside a pillar. Thankfully for Vivoki, though, despite the resources they allocated this top floor, maybe a 4v5 isn't the worst. We've not lost too many bodies to W7M early on.
Definitely not the worst, but I feel like there was a bit of a gap there. They had to set up a meeting in Big Tower, but, you know, Hornet Tower was falling off the angle while Hertz was aggressing into side of meeting. And again, W7M great at problem solving, finding those few spots, and JV has just been cutting off this rotate top floor the entirety of the round, despite Iana being right there, and they don't know Linda is still roaming. They try and trade with a second, but it also falls apart. That shouldn't be how easy that roam is, right? A captain just walking about finds 2 kills.
He's prepped the C4-2. Oh, right as Nade walks in the hallway, just barely escapes in time. He moves in for the finisher. Lenda dodging and weaving. How's he got that one? Switch to the pistol. Now he's finally over. But a singular Capcan inside of Armory has completely thrown W7M's attack all out of whack. 45 seconds left, and now they need to do all the work of a normal basement attack, or at least a large part of it, with very little time and very little players remaining. Those Capitao smokes as well. We talked about the importance they have. Now that the Warden is off the board, not possible. The nades from KZ, gone too. A lot of what you need to make this E-Box drop work is simply not available to the attack anymore. A lot of it will rely on Herds carving a path forward with his SMG-11 and JV-92 following up with the plant. Only 15 seconds to do it. Seems like JV-92 actually going for the freezer drop instead. Hoping to catch Vivoki off guard from 2 different angles. But he walks into the EDDs. They can completely focus freezer now. A blunder in round 7 from W7M as Lenda almost entirely shuts down the attack in the mid-round.
Maybe that's just how this is gonna go. The individual heroics from these players right now. Nate had a couple of rounds. Lenda just had a round. And I don't blame W7M for that scenario because, you know, they thought they had room cleared. The Thunderpick hole was there. And you know, we saw JV holding that master picture balcony towards Trophy the entire round. Nobody had crossed, right? He said that, guys. Nobody crossed. The room is clear. But there is one singular room that appears to have been unchecked, essentially. And that was Armory. That just happens to be where Lenda was playing in. Had the escape route with the C4 on the hatch if he wants to drop, but he doesn't. He goes to the kill instead on the offensive. Says, you know what? We've already lost some members. It is my time right now to get some numbers back from my team and ensure the bomb site is in that stable position in a 2v2 or a 3v3 or something like that. And I was also surprised that the attackers, they split up. W7M did not opt for the E-Box hatch drop together. It was that freezer and E-Box drop hatch, which is very separated, right? There's a big hallway between you, a lot of impenetrable walls, no intel, so you can't trade. To make matters worse, E-box hatch player dropped straight into a Capcan trap, so you don't get very far.
No, not at all, unfortunately. Good pickup for Vivo Key to start. As you mentioned earlier, the trouble W7M seem to be having in this matchup so far. This defensive half gains renewed importance because we all were predicting W7M going into this game. Despite Vivo Key putting up some decent performances so far in the stage, this might just be a very winnable game now that W7M have moved on to the attack. Dorms is another must-win, just as Basement was for Vivo Key. They'll have to react to what W7M are doing. They're going to go the master bedroom side. They're going to go the big window side. Seems the former might just be the option W7M are choosing. They'll have to deal with Hornet Tau, who's facing a lot of pressure early on. Herds on the cutoff, on the generator window. Excellent positioning by the attack. They'll start off with an advantage again. Oh, and a second followed up soon after.
Yeah, I mean, this is just an absolute slaughter, and I feel like Gomez on the, the assignment could have helped the fall. Just keep very often meant to help your teammates, but instead they sacrifice him essentially to that trophy hold. W7M, easy. They find those two first opening kills, but they also slow things down after. Don't want to give this up. They're facing down both the Rook and Duck combo, a very rare one at that these days, and just gotta take it slow. They got so much time to work with. The Cabot's on fire, Cabot's on smokes. They still got 2 nades on Hertz. They can just go downstairs, try and find some kills with those grenades, perhaps, or something with this drone intel.
That's just to maybe get Herds in another position to get a nice kill early on. Even Nade, too, if he wants to be the backline player, the backline fragger in round 8. Be more than happy with that. Lunda's almost entirely holding down the attic position now by himself. Yates does have a nice angle onto the bedroom doorway through the breach. He's able to drop the case cold in that position. Might be what Vivo Key need to swing this back in their favor. Final Dokkaebi call goes out, and there's no follow-up from W7M, all just holding their angles at the moment, rotating, waiting to get in the right spots. Some flashes go out. Lenda's certainly blinded. That'll enable her to just push up the attic stairs. There we go. 4v2 now as Vivo Key have to fall back further into the bomb site. Hope that once they go for the bomb, put the diffuser on the floor, they might get some kills. They'll get 2. 1v2 now for Daffodil, thanks to the Frost Mat. 1v1 actually, because Herds walked into one, or Nade walked into one as well.
What?
Herds has been able to open this round up entirely, but Daffodil might just have the rotate, might just have the wraparound, but now he knows. Oh, and he walks right into it. A very winnable 1v1, but as Daffodil reconsiders and worries about his position, he walks into the exact spot Herds wanted.
We just had a triple injure with 5 people alive or 4 people alive. The double frostbite and the grenade downs the frost because of the Rook armor being picked up earlier, forcing that injury instead of the kill. What a ridiculous round again. And W7M yesterday, they're up against Liquid on border. They had to go the distance of 8-7. And now, sure, they won that round, but they're making some very basic mistakes that we would not expect from this team. Some cracks in the armor showing. Vivo Key, they will call a technical timeout, just kind of rail things back in because this game is slowly slipping away, but it's oh so close in these individual rounds.
It's still very telling though. Again, just to keep demonstrating how winnable the situation is for Vivo Key. Herds started picking up the pace. I mean, but behind Nade, he was the second highest performer so far in this matchup, and that continues to be the case. But specifically in that round, able to win out a key 1v1. It's very much a 2-man show for the side of W7M right now. And if Vivo Key can win dorms again, then win that tertiary bomb site or go back to basement even, this could still very well be a 5v5 and maybe even an overtime game depending on what happens further on down the line. Also, as you said, had that timeout to hit the pause button, get their thoughts back on track, maybe rethink a little bit of dorms. And I mean, if I were to diagnose their problems, Nick, I don't think you need to be an expert to say this, but definitely maybe trying to hold down or even hold the trophy position in a little bit of a different manner as not to lose a body so early on. That would go a long way in enabling Vivo Key later in the round.
No, it would, and it's not even that they lost the body early, it's how they lost that body. It was Hornet Tau sprinting back to the bomb site, feeling too much under pressure, despite having pretty good teammate support. You know, they had the Rook and Dog armor, they had the attic wall opened up like they do currently as well with that soft wall for the line of sight from attic, and he had the Magnus in pocket. You had Gomez with 2 keeper barriers as well to spare when he died. So I feel like there were more things that Vivo Key could have done in that round to maintain their numbers early on. And, well, they just simply didn't do it. I have been very surprised by both attacking teams not really playing that well around the smokes, right? Because, again, the Warden ban is in effect. I was massively expecting maybe a single glass round, or at the very least, smokes on every single round. We see even now, W7M, yeah, they're not playing Capital or Twitch or anything like that, But they're playing Thermite, and Thermite has the option between smokes and flashbangs, and yet Nader's choosing the flashbangs over the smokes with the Warden ban in play. It's a little bit puzzling because I feel like the value there could be immense, and instead, it's not really utilized at all.
No, I'm surprised by the lack of the smoke grenades as well. We've seen a little bit from Vivokeed on the attack, but from W7M, not so much. Again, Horny Tau dealt with early on. I thought maybe we'd even see Vivokeed counter the angle held by Herds on Gen Window, but W7M just walk in, nade the shield, and the magnets are burned instantaneously. Horny Tau doesn't even have a chance to walk back like he did before. So does the 5v4 happen in a different way? Yes, but Vivokeed had even less of a say in Horny Tau's fate by the end of the round. Lenda spotted, isn't able to counter the nade. Excellently well cooked by KZ. Attic position completely cleared. W7M are in the exact same spot they were in the previous round, and somehow much quicker and much more dominantly.
KZ is fighting like he would with a gun, but with just cooking grenades in people's faces and swinging with it. It's ridiculous. And this might just be a flawless. I mean, they're running them down.
I mean, at this point, this is looking like the best attacking round, the best round, period, from W7M so far. Nade might have 16 kills, but this was a team effort on the part of W7M. Vivokeed will now have to go back to basement, down 6-3. W7M just one round away from closing this out in regulation.
That right there is a classic W7M round. That is exactly what we think of what they can do time and time again. It is flawless, it is quick to the pace, and we said, okay, Vivokeed, they're gonna, hold on to trophy. Hornet's gonna fight to die in that position. He's not gonna run away this time. And he didn't. Kudos to him. He stuck around and fought it out, but he also died in 25 seconds. They ran into the lobby, up the armory stairs, a drone trophy a single time. Flashbang went out, Nate went out, he's dead. And again, the gaps are just being exploited by W7M. Lenda was inside of Attic, didn't hold that door towards armory, so Casey just ran in with the SDIana and just basically took care of business, got back out unscathed, hooked that second grenade, swung with it, and got Lenda then with the follow-up. It looked too easy for W7M. And yeah, Vivokeed to get this basement bomb side, they're expected to win, it's very strong, favoring the defense. But then they have another 2 rounds in front of them. They also have to win, and that's only to go into overtime. And I don't want to get ahead of myself because there's 4 seconds left, but JV92, my man. On the glass, a tagger repick, successful. And maybe this is the thing, right? Maybe both teams are like, okay, Warden Guns in effect, whatever. We only really care about that on this basement bomb site. That might just be the case.
Draw your attention back to that graphic, by the way. This game doesn't mean too much for W7M given how close they are. A win of any kind will solidify their playoff chances. But for Vivokeed, if they lose this in regulation, their chances drop from near 100% on a win to 24% on a regulation loss. And with how confident W7M seemed to be in round 10, just look at KZ running up the freezer stairs with that blitz ready to challenge anybody playing on top of those stairs. They're not looking to play the long game and hope for a 7-4, 7-5. No, they want to take basement. They want to end this 7-3. Well, defense will back off for the time being, and KZ might have to wait a little longer for that kill.
Yeah, we also saw JV spend so much time on drone there, just checking all of top, right? Every nook and cranny in master bedroom, closet, armory. They do not want that thing to repeat itself where there's just a defender somewhere hiding around, just waiting for that flank opportunity to get those kills and disrupt them. They need all these 5 attackers in play. Need the soft vision friendly pucks on the floors, destroy the barbed wire, etc. They need the smoke grenades from both the Blitz and from Glass himself to enable the entries from Glass. You want the Blitz for that elbow push possibly later in the round. Every single member of the attack is so vital. So the fact that W7 they get the 5 versus 5 is exactly what they want.
KZ wants it so badly.
Oh yeah, he's ready.
He's not happy with this 5-7 game so far. If he can have the big play to end this game, he will be more than happy. Just waiting for the call to go in that, all right, we're ready for you. Send it on down, freezer stairs, whatever position you're in. Right now, it's instead JV92 and Herds taking control of the freezer stairs push. No smokes just yet, but maybe one gunfight. Lenda will be the guy to contest it. He's doing double duty right now, looking towards freezer and the laundry stairs. Vivokeed might need every gun alive to stop the oncoming push from W7M. On 6 goes out. Will that signal the charge down laundry stairs? Everyone from W7M playing so patiently at this point, Nick.
Yeah.
Not pushing down just yet.
They just need everything, like every piece to be in that right position. These Goyo Vulcan canisters, they're gonna slow things down even further. That's 20 seconds off the clock, right? So with 20 seconds left, that's at the latest time, or sorry, earliest time, this push can go forward.
The laundry Vulcan canister is just gone. KZ's pathway might be clear. You could see W7M waiting. The moment this freezer fire dissipates, JV's going to let go of that smoke. They're going to push forward, but with only 20 seconds left, Vivokeed might have just stalled out long enough. KZ turns his attention to the laundry player, but Gomez shuts it down! That's the kill they needed, and Lenda follows up with icing on the cake. It's not over just yet. W7M gained the lead, but then lost it soon after. Vivokeed remain alive. They've got basement again. Now this is where the real fight begins on the sites that follow.
The setup was great to watch, and I love that top-down use as well for the observer, where we kind of see all the pieces fall into play. Nate on Thermite dropping the E-Box hatch. He's the backstabber. He's just there to create chaos, and he was the only person that truly succeeded. Casey and Blitz, we saw him sprint through laundry, but Gomez snuck inside that laundry corner, and Casey did not see him. And with the Blitz dying, that enables a crossfire from the defense towards the freezer, and that's where the main push was coming from, right? That was the glass in the midst of the smoke, trying to find the defending members that were hiding in corners, and he did find one by the chassis, but that was really it. No real way in for W7M once the Blitz died, and the entire attack came to a halt. Vivokeed, they're so good at just figuring out what they want in these rounds, and they're very quick with their decision making. And whenever W7M they don't take these rounds, in their control fully, like we saw in their upstairs attacks on Kid Storms, well, that's when Vivokeed they win. When they just kind of keep the control on their side.
That's the difficult spot for Vivokeed now, is you'd think just in a vacuum, like, all right, you won basement, follow up on dorms, but they've lost it twice now at this point, and reasonably, very rationally, they don't want to try it a third time, given the lack of success they've had so far, but that means they're basing going to overtime on kitchen and dining and meeting and kitchen, which, by most standards, are generally just not as good in some cases as dorms, and especially basement. Vivokeed need to play exceptionally well on these two following bomb sites, but this one in particular. Make sure that W7M, as they brought the smokes again in the hands of Felipox, who's helming that glass, and the ROU projectors in the hands of JV92 on the Sens, they are going for another similar smoke rush. Sure, no blitz, but still trying to cut off all the lines of sight possible to force Vivokeed back.
Yeah. I like this counterplay as well, like the Meister cameras from Daffodil. That's going to be their biggest stopper for that. Of course, Gomez and Yokai, but you can't see through the smokes with that, but you can try and aim it for a plant stop. And the great thing about this bomb site for the attack is that there's very long lines of sight of dining bomb site because it's kind of like a no man's land. Once you breach open those walls, defenders cannot play inside of dining whatsoever. That's when you can throw out your smokes, try and get a plant down. And again, the only true counter is Daffodil's single Meister cannon that's left alive because one of them was inside of small tower and it's already been destroyed by W7M. Lenda's position inside a bathroom. He could be the hero, could be the playmaker, but it's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's not. That's what I was going to say, though. W7M, they have a lot of utility to go for the execute, but not a lot to deal with Lenda's position. They'll have to deny this angle from smokes, and that's the way this will have to work, because he's still alive. Nobody dealing with him, but KZ moving into cover. Felipox able to take down Gomez early on. There's simply no follow-up from Vivokeed to deny this plant, and No Man's Land is now vacated by W7M. They'll pull back to small tower in a 4v4 now with the bomb down. Herds might have fallen, but Daffodil on low HP. Impacts put KZ a little lower, but neither Nade or the Thatcher are low enough to fall the one shot just yet. All the attack playing passive. Tao tries to go for the retake, but shut down as soon as he takes that gunfight. Lenda on 2 low HP to really matter. Oh, what did I say? Why did I count him out? He's able to find the angle on JV92 and maybe the other on the player outside of small tower. He's got to land the shot, though. Somebody's got to go for the defuse. Only 3 seconds left before we are beyond the pale. And there we go. One kill sure, but not enough to finish it off. W7M have solidified their playoff chances. They win 7-3 against Vivokeed. 7-4, excuse me.
And it's such a good and clean execute once again. I'm not sure if you saw it, Lynx, because some of what's going on, but the Thatcher actually EMP'd the Yokai drone just as it was arriving through that dining bomb site to shut down the plant. And if that Yokai drone had gone through, they would get a yellow ping or a red ping for intel, would have stalled the plant for at least those 7 seconds to restart the timer, and maybe with that, have a way to win that round. Lenda could have acted upon that info, but because of that single EMP just kind of striking the Yokai, all of that falls apart. Great line.